Everybody, and welcome back to another video. In this video we're going to see how text messaging works. You don't need a real phone for this. We're going to use the emulators. And so if you navigate yourself over to the class website and you go into the CS453 folder and you go under examples and sort it by the modified date. Ooh, let's see, did I put it in here? I did. SMS demo, smsdemo.txt. So the last one we did for this week was broadcast receiver, which is the battery checker. And right now we're going to see how the SMS works, which is the text messaging. So this should be fun. It's very fun to see things work between the emulators. And so what you're going to want to do is start a new project. And we're going to do the same thing we've been doing before. Select the empty activity, click on next. And this one I'm going to call SMS. That's pretty short. That looks pretty good. I've been using, by the way, the API 28, which is Android 9 Pie. Just so you know, you can use the lower APIs as well. You don't want to go back anything further than about 24.25, but you don't have to use the latest and greatest, is what I was showing you. All right. The other thing you're probably going to want to do in this, I kind of did this before I started the video to make sure I could run two emulators. You're going to need to run two emulators at the same time, and some of your systems are pretty taxed with just one emulator running. So before you get going on anything, you probably want to pause the video and go into the tools and go into the AVD manager. And I created a lightweight emulator using the Nexus 1 on API 28. So if you go into create virtual device, I went down here to the way down here, Nexus 1, which is a 3.7 size. So it's kind of a small one. The resolution is only 480 by 800. So it's going to run a little bit faster because it's going to take up a little less memory. If you click on that one, go next, and then select an API. I'm using the same API version, the 28, that I've been using in my other previous examples. So you can still, I'm not going to, well, here I'll continue. I'm not going to finish this one because I already just created two of them. You want to create two. On mine, I just put like 1 and 2 next to the names so I can tell them apart. And you can see I've got the lower API. And you see it only takes up 1.6 gigs. One of them only takes up 1.5, it looks like. And you don't need the Google Play services. The target is Google 9 running on this, the Android API version 9. But you see over here where it says Play Store, there's nothing in this column here, which is okay. You don't need that. In fact, if you don't run the Play Store or the Google Play services, the emulators will run a little bit better for you. And so the other thing you probably want to do is go ahead and boot up both of them. You can see I have both of them running here. They're going to run on 2 different ports. For example, this one is running on 5554. And what I did, I'm just clicking on the 3 dots down here. And this one is running on 5556. You do want 2 of them because we're going to send messages back and forth between them. So install, I picked the Nexus because it's kind of lightweight, but put in a 480, a small lightweight emulator, and start up 2 of them, and then pause the video, do this, and then come back to the video. Because then you'll have an easier time running it, because then you won't have to wait, because depending upon how fast your system is, and mine's pretty slow, especially because I have recording software running on it at the same time, and I got another external mic hooked up to it. It could run on the slow side for you. All right, so I'm going to open up this smsdemo.txt file, and first thing we're going to do is create the layout. So we can get, and we're just going to use a linear layout. It's going to have some text views on it with some edit texts. And it's because we want to capture the information. So go ahead and click on activity_main. Delete everything that's in there. And, oops, I don't know what this was. Let's just get rid of that one. paste in the linear layout. You see it's going to be pretty basic. It's just going to be a text view that's going to say, you know, phone number, and then you put the phone number in and then edit text, and then you're going to have a, well, what's your message? You know, you're going to have a text view that shows you a SMS message, and then you're going to type the message in, and it's going to be another edit text where it's going to be you can type in multi-lines in the edit text, actually. It's going to be called edit text SMS. And then you're going to have a button, and the button's going to say send SMS on it. So it's pretty easy layout. So once you get the layout in there, let's go back and take a look at the second thing we need to do here, which is going to be the main activity. If I copy and paste and put the main activity in here, this is way overkill for what we need, but it's a teaching example, so I want to show you a couple things here at the same time. Keep the package up there. Just go ahead and replace the code with this code here so you can see it working on your machine. And so let me tell you what's in here, actually. Not quite sure why I've got an error now. We'll see momentarily, I guess. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. Let's see. What do we got going on here? Possible cut and paste error has already been locked up. Yeah, more actions. Move assignment and field declaration. Okay. That should not have given us a message. I'm wondering, let me see if I can fix this real quick. I'm going to pause the video. That should not have, this should not have given us a message here, actually. It's probably because my project is out of sync, but I'm going to pause the video momentarily and see why this is in red, because this should be, it says it can't resolve the ID, cannot resolve symbol SMS. So let me, which is in that, it should be here, which it is, and let's just make sure real quick. We've got a send SMS for the button. I'm just looking at the button right now. At ID, send SMS, and then this is the button, and we're going to say, okay, so let me pause the video and troubleshoot to see why that is in red, and then I will continue it. Well, guys, that was super odd. I'm kind of glad it happened to me, though, just so that I could provide you with something else here as well. So I was a bit confused, so I went to the internet and decided to do a little Google search on it, and found two suggestions. One of them was to go into build and then go into rebuild, which didn't do anything for me at all, actually. Another one said to clean the project. I cleaned the project. That didn't do anything for me at all either. And then the Android developer.android.com told me to go into File, and it told me to go down to Invalidate Caches and Restart, and then to select Invalidate and Restart, which I'm doing right now, actually. And I believe it's because the r.resource file is out of sync. I don't know if this is a problem with the new IDE. As I mentioned in the previous video, I just upgraded. So I have the latest and greatest. And so it might be newer than what you have. You may not have had that error. It's because I've run this project before, I guess. I don't know. I guess it's because I cut and pasted, maybe. It's really weird. I've never had that happen to me before. But apparently, I don't know if that would happen. I don't know if it would fix the problem if you closed the project and reopened it. Just in case you missed it, the problem happened when I cut and pasted in and I put the code in the main activity, and the r.id wasn't recognizing the properties for the components in my activity_XML file that I changed. I didn't save it after I changed it, so maybe I could have saved it. But what I did was in order to fix the problem, it's still being fixed right now. It's indexing. I can see right now I still got the Gradle thing going on. What seems to have fixed the problem and the errors kind of went away, when I went into File, I went into Invalidate Caches. So I guess I got to turn the caching off. There's probably a setting in here to remove the caching, and I probably had it turned off in my previous version because I have never seen this error message before. But if that does happen to you, the one thing I used to try in the past was to clean the project, which I see is grayed out right now because it's still building. In a few minutes, those options will become available. Still building the Gradle. It seems to be a little slower. So now I sort of wish I'd never upgraded because my system is much slower than it used to be. But let me just give it a few minutes because it's still building. But I can still go over the code at the same time here. So let's see. We don't need these two components here actually. It's not using Android X at all for anything. So I could take that out of there. Not quite sure why that was in there, but so let's see. This is the code that was cut and pasted from here. And you can remove these two. You don't need the Android X because it looks like I switched it to an activity instead of an app compact activity. But so go ahead and cut and paste the code to MainActivity. Go ahead and stick it in the project. We're still configuring the project, it looks like. So what ended up happening is I tried to get rid of the caches, which is kind of weird. In a moment after this continues, all this red stuff should go away. So I'll just continue to explain the code while this is going on. So we have another import that was kind of interesting. Is the import is the manifest. We're going to talk to the manifest from the code. And in the last video, I kind of alluded to the concept that I was going to show you some more examples of this. And what I'm showing you is how to programmatically change what's in the manifest or to set settings and permissions. We need to set permissions in this particular application to use the SMS. And we're going to use the SMSManager, which is the automated way of setting the oh, I guess we did need this. We'll put it back. Sorry, guys. Looks like we did need those two. I'm afraid to cut and paste it again, so I'm just going to add them manually here. All right. All right, so these guys are back in. We did need them. Sorry about that. Don't take them out. Leave them in there. Let me just go through the code. All right, so we have a main activity that extends activity. We got that part. So here's just an integer my permissions request, which means we're going to set an integer value to 0. It's a class level one, not an instance one. It's just a placeholder because we're going to have, I guess we could have just put the number 0 down below. We're going to keep track of how many requests we have. If we've never requested to use the SMS services, we might need to turn it on the phone. And we might need to ask for the phone privileges so that we can use our app can use the text SMS texting. And so this is going to be a placeholder for a toggle we're going to use to determine whether or not we've set those permissions yet. So we're going to see it further down. We're also going to see the button, the edit text, and we have a couple strings for the phone number and the message. And then, so this stuff should look familiar to you at this point. The onCreate method is going to take and it's going to use that activity_main. And then we're going to use, and now we don't have any error messages, which is good. We're going to take these local variables. We're going to get the find view by ID. We're going to get the components from the XML interface, the send message. These are in the XML interface. If you take a look at the XML interface, you'll find that these are the edit texts where we're collecting the data. The data that we're collecting is going to be the telephone number and the message. We also need to keep tabs on that button. And so when the button is pressed, we're going to set an on-click listener. And the on-click listener is going to call a method called send SMS message. And lo and behold, as you might think, here's the send SMS message. So this method is going to be run. So this stuff here you've done before. All of this stuff you've done before. All right, so what are we going to have? We're going to create two strings, and we have the two strings up here. It's the phone number and the message. And they're going to be the get text and convert it to string for the information that is in the edit text for the phone number and the edit text for the message itself. Now, here's the interesting part. If the context compat, which is actually part of which is kind of ironic because I'm not running a compact app activity, I'm running a plain activity. So I probably should have changed this one, but I'm going to leave it alone because if it's not broken, don't fix it. But it's running the activity compact context, which is funny because it's in the same hierarchy. It's just a little higher up is the activity. It's okay though. It works. We're going to check self permissions this to see if the manifest.permissions is set to send SMS. And if it doesn't equal the package manager permission granted, which means in the package manager for when we install, because when you install an app on the Android, when you go through the regular install process, the app will ask you, it'll say that this app is requesting the permission to use SMS. Would you like for SMS to be used? And then you can say yes or no. And if you say no, the app's not going to work. And so it's checking to see if the package manager has granted permission already. Because if it hasn't granted permission, then we need to look at the manifest to see if permission should be granted. So if the activity compact should show request permission rationale, we use this manifest.permission send SMS, which means we need to add something to the manifest of this. So if we go into the manifest, we haven't added it yet. So we need to stick it in. And I put the code for you in here. It's number 3 on the bottom. It says you need to add the send SMS permission to the Android manifest. So I'm going to copy this line here. Hopefully I won't get any more copy and paste messages going on here. And then you can stick it at the top. You can stick it at the bottom. You want to stick it in between the opening and the closing manifest, but not inside an application. If it's easier to stick it at the top, go ahead and do that. So you've got the permission now in here. So it uses the permission, and the permission is send SMS. So permissions go in the manifest, and it's outside of the application. So the application's got an opening and a closing. That's the only change we need to do, by the way, to the manifest, and it's inside of the manifest file. So let's go ahead and copy and paste and stick that in there. That's all we have to do. So I'm going to close the manifest down. I don't need that anymore. And luckily I didn't get any caching errors either, which was good. Okay, so then if it isn't, we're going to see if the rationale is there. We're going to see if the manifest permission has this. If it does, we're good. Else, we're going to request the permission. So we have a new string for the manifest.permission to send SMS. For my permission request, send SMS, which is my permission request to send SMS, which is 0, which means I haven't asked yet. It's 0. We can increment it if we wanted to. So it's going to be set, which means we're going to ask for permission. I know a lot of this is drawn out, and you don't need any of this. As long as you run through a proper install, you never have to do this. You're only doing this because we're going to run it on the emulator, and the emulators, we're not going to properly install it. We're going to go through a copy through the Android system, the SDK system, and it's not going to do the permissions for us correctly. But you can do this as well if you don't want the message to show up when the user installs the app originally. Because the user would have already gone through all this. They would have already, this app is requesting permission to use the SD card. Do you allow it? Okay, no, I don't allow it. No. When you run the app, those messages come up. This is how you get those messages to come up. So it's just an example of that. So on the request permission result, which means we got permission, we grant results, we got a code. In the code, we're going to switch the code. The code is the my permissions request send message. So if it is granted, if it's larger than 0, it started out at 0. If we changed it, then grant permission 0. So we check the package manager and we say that if it is equal to, and we're trying to see if it's equal to permission granted. If permission is granted, we're going to make an instance of the SMSManager. So you're probably wondering, what part of this actually sends the text message? This part right here does. Actually, it's right here. SMSManager is the object, and the instance we're calling it as SMSManager is going to be equal to SMSManager.getDefault. And then we're going to run the SMSManager.setTextMessage to the phone number, the null, the message, the null, the null. The nulls are like for you can look it up on the internet. It's for priority, for styling, etc. and so forth. But to get the basic phone number and the message is what you need. The rest of it could just be all null. And we're going to send a toast message up that says the SMS was sent. That's pretty much it. Else, if we didn't get permission, or if there was a problem, we couldn't send it. Well, that means we didn't get permission. Else, it's going to send up a message that said it failed. Please try again. So, believe it or not, all this code, what I've got highlighted right now, is what actually sends the text message. So now I'm actually going to run it. That's all we needed, actually. We have the MainActivity code, which gets the information from the interface, sets it up, sends a message on that button click, checks for the permissions. Most of this stuff is overkill. You can get away with just this part, and if you look at other examples on the internet, it'll show you just this part. I'm showing you all this other stuff to give you more examples of how the manifest can be changed in the source code itself. So you can actually communicate with the properties of the app activity as well. This is the activity compact, which is funny. Anyway, so I've got two. Next is one. So I'm going to start the first one, and I'm going to click run. And I still have two of them running. I think that's number one, but we'll see momentarily which one of them starts running. This is the Gradle build is running. We got to start them both if we want to send messages back and forth between the two. So this is time we cross our fingers and be patient. It does, oh, okay, it should load pretty fast because these are pretty lightweight. These are pretty lightweight emulators. All right, so we got the first one loaded up. There we go. So I'm gonna now switch this little toggle to number 2 and load that one up. So let me just put these guys back in here. So number 2 is now loading. I'm just gonna give it a few minutes. The less I do on the computer, the faster it does. Oh, there it is. That loads up pretty fast, actually. Okay, so this guy over here, we got to first thing I got to just check to see what numbers they're on. This guy over here is on 5554, and they're always going to start out with 5554, by the way, or 5555. This one's 5556. So the number 5554 I'll send to 5556, and I'm going to send a message of, hey, are you there? And let's see what happens. I'm going to get rid of the keyboard here so we can see what the toast message is going to be. And did I press the send? I just press it one more time, just to make sure. Well, give it a few minutes just in case it's on the slow side. Do expect it to run a little bit on the slow side. I didn't get a message one way or the other. So let me go here. And this is 55. Let me just make sure I got this one right. This is 5556. 5556. And you are 5554. So actually I'm going to send a message to myself, 5554. Let's see. Send a message. Oh, I think something came in over here. Send a message. And you over here is going to be 5554. 4. Are you there? Ah, here we go. Allow SMS to send and view SMS messages. Yes, allow. This is that text I was talking to you about. This guy hadn't come up with it yet. But this guy over here wants me to provide permissions. So I'm going to say allow. That is all that stuff I was talking about. This. Oh, okay. So are you there showed up. And it came from 5556. Now this guy is still having some issues. I don't think this guy is sending. So let's go to 5556. I did not get... let me restart him actually. I did not get... And it is a bit buggy, I'll tell you. It is a little bit buggy. Let's see. I don't know how this emulator actually works. You know what? We will... Oh, here it is. I'm looking for my app. What did I call it? SMS is probably on the bottom here. No, I don't want Google Play. All right, let me... no, don't want Google Play. All right, let's start him again. We need to start... this guy's number 2. Let's start number 1 over again. So number 1, I'm going to stop. And I'm going to start number 1 over again. So Pixel Launcher isn't responding. Yeah, I know you're having issues. But we did see one message go from the working one. Yeah, I was trying to get rid of you. So I got this one loading up. And the system process isn't responding. I might have to shut this guy down and start him back up again, but this guy here can send messages though. This emulator is not a happy camper. This one is going to 5556. So let's see. Let me just try this guy one more time before I give up on him. This guy was working a few minutes ago. Did see that message come in. That message was delivered. Oh, I got another one from 5554 test. I don't know. Oh, that's the one I sent myself, it looks like. All right. So let me show you something else while I'm messing around with these emulators. I think that this one is just going to have to get... It's just, we don't want messages. I don't want messages. Oh, this is interesting. Yes, it is using the messaging app. But I wanted to use my app, not the messaging app. So actually, this is a really good demonstration. This is actually showing you the messaging app. And 5556 just sent, are you there? Let's just send another. Hello. I'm pressing the back. There we go. Yikes. This is slow. Send yikes, this is slow. It is going to make it over here eventually. Oops, I sent it to... Yeah, this is 5554. It is running like a snail, however. So let me show you something else, actually. And we can also send a text message to ourselves if we go into the phone up here. If we want to run from one emulator to the other, this is actually going to send a message. So this is a test from the emulator panel. Send a message. Oh, this is a test from the emulator panel. Oh, okay. All right. Well, that one came in great. Why are you not sending? Well, let's see. I'm going to stop you one more time, restart you. It does work, trust me, it does work. So let's see, that was number 2, right? So stop number 2. Run number 2 again. I'm going to stop number 1 again and run number 1 again too. I am taxing the system because I do have the recording software on there. Not a happy camper. It was working just fine for one message. It should work for more. But I guarantee you, as soon as I turn off this video, it'll work perfectly fine. So let's see, are we still in the same ports? We're still on, this one's still on 5556. So let's send a message then to 5556. Hello from 5554. And I'll just be patient instead of hitting it multiple times. I'll just be patient. I did send it. And this one is 5554, so then we'll send this guy to 5554. I could try to pause the video. See if I can get it to work. I have a strange feeling it's going to work just fine if I do that. But that kind of defeats the purpose of showing it to you. You can take my word for it. It actually works. But try it out at home. It's just an example of how to use text messaging. And how to use the emulators. We did have it work one time, so I'm glad it actually sent one message correctly. Actually, I think it was this guy who received it. Wait a minute. I just see, yeah, here it is. From 5554 got test. You got a test in there. I don't think it was 41 minutes ago. I think we've got some issues with the times on these emulators. Okay. In any case, that is pretty much all I'm capable of doing by video for this. We're not going to come back, are we? Oh, here we are. Are you there? 7 minutes ago. Oh, I finally got it. Okay, so it did get it. So 555, it didn't get the one, that was the one that was 7 minutes ago. It got the one, are you there? But it didn't get this one, and it probably will get this one in another 10 minutes or so. But I don't want to keep you that long. So, in any case, hopefully you'll have better luck. If you try it on a real device, you'll have really good luck. The program is using the SMSManager, which is using your underlying text messaging program. So the text messages you send using this app will show up in the messages or in the whatever app is installed on the emulator that is actually used for text messaging. So I can reply back and forth between the two emulators using these, using the built-in. So if I typed in, which is this guy here, 5554, and I start a conversation with 5554, I can say, hello from messaging app. But the app that you just installed on there that you wrote using the code should be working. So yeah, if that's working, this should be working. Because it's using the same program, it's just a SMSManager written on top of it. Alright. So I will leave you with that. If I have the time, I'll try to come up with another demonstration of this, but I have a strange feeling I'm not going to have any luck. The emulators are a bit quirky when it comes to sending messages back and forth, And you might have some better luck than I do. In fact, when I was using the Pixel emulators, I had no luck. So I'm showing some results with these Nexus ones, but they're definitely not perfect. So I hope you enjoyed the video. This is just an introduction to SMS messaging. You can find tons of code examples all over the place. It's pretty much done the same way if you're going to use the SMSManager. There's another technique that you can use that uses intents. A couple more lines of code, but you still have to set the permissions in the manifest, but you would use an intent instead of the messenger. Fortunately for you, you don't have to do any text messaging for any of the projects for this course, but I wanted to make sure I at least showed it to you. So hope you enjoyed the video, and hopefully you have more luck than I do with your emulators. And stay tuned for another video soon. Thanks for watching.